So this Maimer was said Yud Beis Tmuz Tafshin Chaf, 1960. Starts off with a pasuk from Parshas Balak, where he said, Bilam says, Merosh Tzurim Arenu, I see him from the tops of the peaks, umikvois Asherenu, and from the hills, Asherenu, I behold him. Hine kosav zeh, so this pasuk, Koyal Kol Echad Am Bnei Yisrael, refers to every Yid. Sharoyim Roisom, they are viewed kvishem b'chinas roish tzurim ugvois. They are described here as each Yid is the top of peaks and hills. So, what is the meaning of it? It says in Medrash Parashas Boy. It's interesting why that would bring this source Parashas Boy. It's interesting. Usually doesn't. At any rate, because it's not a Medrash on Parshas Balak, so maybe easier for the guys to find it, or maybe it's a reference to Yud Shvat, always Parshas Balak. So what is meant by I see him from the top of the peaks? Elu ha'avis, they are the forefathers. The Medrash continues. Moitzim anu, we find. At the outset, Hashem desired to establish His world, the world. And couldn't find, was unable to add until the forefathers arose. The Medrash continues, Moshe Melech, by way of Moshe, the kingship, Medina. So he wanted to build a country, a state. Gozar, he decreed, he so decreed. So they searched for a place, Medina, where they can build his country. So they came to put down the foundation. However, the water ascended from the depth. And the waters didn't allow to establish the foundation. The Medrash continues, so he tried to build it elsewhere. And the water then came and turned everything over and swept it all away. Till he came to a certain place, and found a great rock there. Amar, the king said, here I will build the country Tzurim halol on these rocks. The Medrash concludes, at the outset, the world was water in water. This is a quote from the Rishalmi. So the Korban Eidah there explains, the meaning is that the first day of creation, as the Torah says, everything was water. Right? And the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. But he adds, moreover, that all of creation was created there in a watery state. And then only subsequently, the next days of creation, the various creations emerged with all of their properties. That's the meaning of the beginning, everything was water within water. Follow? Everything was in a watery state, submerged in the water. So now we're speaking now not just the first day of creation, but in the biggest span of time, as Hashem seeks to establish His world. There was still a watery state till the others. As he explains, Hashem wanted to establish His worlds, Elamim worlds. And the wicked didn't allow it. So you had B'deiris, so there were two major events that the Medrash mentioned, two attempts of the king. And they are, in history, B'deiris shel Enosh. The Torah says that Enosh arose and began to profane the name of God. Various explanations as to what the sin of Enosh and his generation was. He's a grandson of Noach. And Rashi brings that Ola Hamayim Vitzifim, the water arose and washed them away. A third of a third of the world was submerged in water. This is before the Mabul. And then came the Mabul. And then came the Mabul. All Amayim, the waters ascended and completely thought of the earth. So these are the two events the Medrash was talking about in this parable. Then the rocky, firm terrain, given the peaks, Shabo Ha'ovis V'zochu. So the forefathers came and they were meritorious. Omra Kodesh Baruch Hu, so the Eibusha says, Al Eilani Mechenyan Yisraelim. It's on these I will establish my world. End of Medrash. All right. So conclusion. The meaning of Merosh Tzurim Arenu Mikvois Hasherenu that Yidden are described as peaks, rocky peaks, and hills. So this goes on the Ovis. That's every Yid as the Ovis as the are within every Yid. And they were brought the elaborate Madrash. It was only when the Ovis came that Eibishter was able to establish the world on terra firma. Continuing now. This is what we say in Tilim. He spreads the earth upon the waters, for his kindness is everlasting. Meaning, in order that the world should be built, that there should be earth higher than the water, above the water, unlike the outset, as we explained, the world was water within water. And then came all our Vitzi from the dead generation of Enosh, and the water arose and flooded them. So in order for that not to be, for that, God has to employ his eternal kindness, his chesed. As explained by the Bechaye, the famous Pirush on Chumash, which is also big Makubal, on the pasuk, the pasuk says in Bereshis, the waters under the heaven should gather to one place. Yikova means gather. Mikveh means a gathering of water. And the dry land should appear. Explains the Bechaye as follows. There are two decrees here, actually, two acts of chesed. That first of all, the water should gather under the heavens. The waters are very high. They've got to gather in one low place below. That's one thing. The waters have to descend, in other words. And then earth has to ascend till the dry land appears. The water is associated with the heavens. The water below the heavens should gather. That means a descent, and the offer should ascend. So the Rabbi explains, conveyed here is two decrees to nature, decreeing nature to behave contrary to their nature. Why? The nature of earth is to descend, and here the earth is told to ascend. And the nature of water is to ascend, to float. And here it's told to go down. So here continues the Bechaye. He's quoting from the Bechaye. He decreed that the waters below the heavens descend, that they should go down, like earth does. And Hashem decreed on the earth, they should ascend and assume, as it were, the nature of water. And that's what's conveyed in the pasuk this paragraph began with. This is what the pasuk says. He praise Hashem. He spreads the earth upon the waters. For many meanings, his kindness is eternal, but he's teaching it here. In order for the world to be chazdai, he expressed his chesed. He expressed his chesed so that the world could endure. It's a chesed for the world, that the world should exist. All right, so beautiful medrash, beautiful Bechaye, and now to understand all this in the light of Chassidus. Yeah, we're clear. The midrashim What's one medrash and one bechaya? Yeah? Yes, folks. Okay. And the explanation is as follows. That which the Rishalmi says, Medrash says, at the beginning, the world was water in water. For those who came late, I'll just explain you. Not that you heard the explanation. The Korban Eid on the Gemara in Rishalmi explains in the beginning, as the Pasuk says, the world was submerged in water, but moreover, all of creation. Rashi actually says this. The beginning, Hashem created everything in the potential state. And then over the course of the 6 days of creation, what happens is that every creation emerges and is crystallized and is formed. But at the outset, it was all created in one blinding moment and all this potential state. In the words of the Mishnah, in one statement, Bereshis being that first statement, which includes everything, Shemayim v'Oretz. And then later with the 9 specific that where creation is differentiated and articulated. So the Gemara says, and the Medrash is saying, at the beginning everything was water in water, meaning that all the potential was only in the Mayim state, and the other components emerged later. So it was a watery, nebulous existence. Now what that means, Bepnimius, or rather, the source of that. The source of that in terms of the godly source, and that is that in the beginning, what's being described here as water within water is a description of Eilam HaToyu. And what's Eilam HaToyu? As we know, Eilam HaToyu precedes Eilam HaTzilus. Eilam HaToyu is many lights and small vessels. Right? Great revelation and very small kalim. The power of finitude has not emerged yet to contain and compromise the light. So there's great revelation and scant boundary, scant limits. Haino, meaning the revelation had no connection to Kalim. In other words, the revelation was pure infinite. And pure infinite is totally beyond finite. No shaykhs to Kalim. And the Kalim that emerged there were the beginnings of Gvul, such that Gvul externally and Bli Gvul are incompatible. And that's how it was at the outset. And therefore, so the end result then was the shattering. Incompatible is shattering. And even though this is described as God building worlds, but building and destroying. It's actually quoting here now from the laws of Shabbos, where building for the sake of destroying, is that considered building? Halachically, it's not. It's meant to endure. So he's just borrowing that terminology that the building process of creation at the stage of Tohu is not meant to last. It's putting in place a process, but building such that it should be destroyed. As we explained in the previous Maimer, it's the first dalliance, is that the word, between Bli Gvul and Gvul, and naturally that's not an easy encounter. When Gvul meets Bli Gvul, there's the shattering of the Gvul, and the Bli Gvul is not contained or experienced. And that's the meaning. Shazel, we give examples of it. When a person first learns, without going to all the Mishalim now, just one Moshe. When a person first learns an idea that's foreign and completely novel, the outset is confusion. We cannot contain the idea, he has only shards of the idea, and left with confusion until the next step of, which may not happen, of articulating it in a way that the person can understand. But that's important. It's a critical part of learning. The critical part of truly learning is the beginning is the recipient of the mind doesn't know what's happening and is open. That's part of the process of this breakdown of the old way of thinking in a way and being prepared to learn and understand something on a whole new level. It's going to be the shattering of the old. And many other dimensions to this as well. It's a huge sugya in Kabbalah and Chassidus, Toyu and Tikkun. At any rate, we're all familiar, the Rebbe said, that watershed land, Mark Sicha, Chav Ches Nisan. I've done all that I can. It's up to you. It is the Toyu, but in Kelim the Tikkun, which is what our Avodah is down here. Okay. So continuing, so that's what the Gemara means. Shazel, Shoyamayim, Oilim, the Medrash went on to say that at the beginning, till things settled down, the waters ascended. It didn't allow the foundation of the world to emerge, chaos. The Medrash had continued in the Moishe, till the king came, and he found this great rock. The Koi al Avram, it refers to Avram, he was a great one amongst giants. Tzurim, he's the head of the rocks. Who are the rocks? Elo Ovis, in general, they are the forefathers, but he's the head of them. The Yosei Reish Lovis, he was the first and founding forefather. The world exists for 6,000 years, says the Gemara. The first 2,000 years were chaos, and with Avram began the 2,000 years of Torah, and following that, 2,000 years of Mashiach, the potential for Mashiach. So Avram comes after the 2,000 years of chaos, says the Gemara in Avodah Zarah. So he begins now Tikkun Atzilus, but Atzilus down here. Like it says in Pasuk, like the Chazal say on the Pasuk. And the world was empty, and dark, and the spirit of Hashem hovered over the waters. Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hashem says Chazal in the Medrash. Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hashem says Admo. How much longer will the world conduct itself in darkness? May light come. Hashem said that to be light, that was day 2. Day 2 is an allusion to the next 2,000 years, the beginning of the second period, the second epoch of 2,000 years. Avram, referring to Avram. So Avram begins to illuminate the world. Avram begins to establish the world. Avram begins the process of tikkun, rectifying, and ultimately of bringing the h'tsh of tohu, which are present in the world, but revealing them in such a way in creation that creation is a reflection of its source in an integrated way. Elikus is revealed. As he goes on to explain, we're good. Even after the world is established. So what do we find in the story of creation? So God established the world. And it doesn't last. We see the waters come up and flood the world. So what's the inyan? In other words, what's the avodah to maintain all of this? It's not like Avraham did it, Hashem did it on day 2, day 3, and now all is fine and good in the world. The avodah continues. So what's the whole avodah? The matter is as follows. The waters of the ocean, they're not fitting to drink. So this goes on the world and all the matters of the world. In the body and the animal soul, the pasuk calls them swirling waters. Right? They don't allow to build the Medina. What's the Medina? What's the country? Making this world a home for Hashem. So that's the water that constantly threaten to wash it all away, or even have difficulty in establishing it to begin with. And if you did already, then it all collapses. because of Nefesh Bahamis, the Guf, the Yitzhara, and so on. So what's the solution? However, so they're not, it's not good, these waters. However, but these salty waters, which are unfit for drinking, unfit for habitation, when they ascend from the depths, they pierce, they go through the earth, through the pressure and another word for pressure, and the compression. As it passes through Gidei, literally the veins of the earth. So so this pressure causes the waters to be filtered and to be sweet waters. So this is the whole Avodah. So likewise, if the soul of every Yid, this is from Shir HaShirim, every neshama is called the well of living waters. So the whole kavan is that Nefesh Elikis becoming clothed in Nefesh Bahamis. As in Matekes es Amayim Meluchim, so the Nefesh Elikis works the Nefesh Bahamis, it sweetens the salty waters. Which are unfitting for a person. They should become sweetened. Yes, not only is the Avodah to sweeten the Nefesh Bahamis, but moreover, and the Guf and the world, moreover, through this, that the Nefesh Elikis does her Avodah with the Nefesh Bahamis and sweetens it. Mis'al is gam Nefesh Elikis Avodah kazu. This causes an elevation of the Nefesh Elikis itself to such a level of Avodah that itself could never reach. It can only reach this by virtue of its engagement in its Avodah and its toil with the Nefesh Bahamis. All right, this is the outline, and now to be explained. We go further. Beautiful. Yeah. And the matter is as follows. As explained in many places at length. Even though even though it may be fall, the neshama descended. So the neshama stood in his perpetual avodah lifnei havaya, before havaya, before the Eibishter. Kamishikosu, like the pasuk says, it's actually out of context. But anyway, on the Yondav he's speaking there to Achav, but it's a rembes to the neshama l'mayla. Because it says, Chai Havaya, the living God, Hashamadati, the fun of before whom I stood in the past, meaning Neshama, before I came down to the world, become Makayim. So it's beautiful. What's missing? So Chassidus points out, Amadati, I stood, really wasn't going anywhere, even though the Taka Aliyahs, but they're all, every Aliyah is predicated at the level before, and it's all predictable. So at the end of the day, it's stationary in the big picture. As it goes to the same different ways. It goes so there, the neshama taka love the Eibishter with all of its soul, but nonetheless, avodah should be tam v'das. It was an avodah which was understood and appreciated, rational avodah. Limited avodah. That was the nature of the avodah neshama l'mayla. In other words, avodah mishat mitzad b'chinas v'mala kalam. In what level of alikus? What kind of relationship is the neshama having with the Eibishter? It's as he fills all of creation through all of his measured manifestations. And that's where it ends. But through coming down the Mata Shazu, you did the Bira Mikta. This, in the paraphrasing the Gemara, is a descent to a deep pit. It's all in order to achieve an essential. It's dafk in this world that the avodah with all your might, or exceeding beyond, that this is where this avodah can happen. The mighty midid of Akbola, where a yid goes beyond his conscious limits. Tamadov, and the reason is, how does this happen? Now we come back to the salty waters of the Nefesh Bahamis. Those of the mato, the Shoma comes down here. So it's a whole new world. So now it has to deal with it in a guf and Nefesh Bahamis. Shmitzad atzmam, they themselves, eshbem tnuah shulamayim medida v'agbola. The guf Shabamis are driven by this boundless, never enough. That's because they come from Toyo. And Toyo is never enough, boundless. Because they come from Toyo. There's the great light, the kelim and few and small kelim. So it's constantly this energy which is constantly unsatisfied, unrequited. Because in the Oiris and Marubim, it's not shaykh, they should be contained because they are many. You know, it's many in. I mean, Baruch. And the kelim are very few. They could not receive the light in such a way that it could be internalized and invested in them. And that's why there was the shattering of the kelim and the feelings, and the divine energy and sparks plummeted to the earth. The light did not receive the limit of the kelim, uncontained by the kelim, so the light spills over and crashes. As he goes on to explain that, therefore these sparks, which is the light, fell, and they fell in very low places, which is this world. As is known, the Moishe, the higher something is, when it collapses, it falls deeper. The brick that is in the highest part of the wall, when the wall collapses, falls deeper. And the Misholah began for this, when the person is introduced to something that's totally beyond, he never gets a grip on it, this can cause madness and insanity. Before he was a rational thinking person, and now he was introduced to something that is beyond his ken, and that's where it ends. So it's not like, okay, go back to where I was. There's no going back. It's a shattering and insanity, and he falls from his place, from a rational person to insanity. So that's what happened. The world's a crazy place. And it doesn't follow the rules unless contained and harnessed. But left alone, not inclined to follow any kind of rule, structure, or order. You think you got it, and then all of a sudden the whole thing implodes. So, but that's the gewaltige koyach. That the davka guven nefesh b'hamis behem in shel head that medida v'agbola. They have this craziness, this lack of medida v'agbola, of medida of measure and boundary. Since this source is from a world, that's what it is. Tell you. Therefore, this is why the Nefesh Elikis has this tremendous aliyah by harnessing, by sweetening the salty waters of the Nefesh Abamis and the Guf. With the Guf effects, this movement, had the Medida Vakbola, this ascent, this passion, Gamba Nefesh Elikis, even the Nefesh Elikis. Shetamura said that instead of this, Shad Ata, he saw Vidas till now, it's Aveda before it came down to the body, was what Bishleim was so. It was beautiful, it was perfect, it was whole, can't fault it. Avarat b'chol nafshecho, but it was all limited to the conscious state of the Nefesh Elikis itself, each one at its level. Whatever level, Atzilis, Bri, Atzilis, whatever the level of Nefesh Elikis is. There you did also the matter, but down here, Margas to begin here in order to it's sink or swim. Here in order to do avoid, it's got to be totally beyond the limits of the comfort limits. The Maili Medida Vakbolish Nefesh Elikis is compelled to go beyond its natural state, its limits. And even though the Torah is saying to each one of us, it's got to be your exceeding koyach. What's exceeding for you? But compared to another person, it's very true, possible. It's very limited and contained. Nonetheless, that's beyond for you, and that's what's demanded of you. That is like it's similar that it says, Maim she'ein lahem sof. It's talking there about the laws of Yerusha, that a person sees someone go into an ocean, and it's maim she'ein lahem sof. It's endless. It's an endless ocean. That's how it's described. And we don't see him come out. So can we assume that he died and she's able to marry or not? So if I'm not mistaken, the din is lachatchila not, but if she did marry, then she's allowed to remain married. But why is it called maim she'ein lahem sof? The waters do have an end. But shenikro came lefisha adam ma'imid ein deroisak etzak. It's because the person standing on the shore doesn't see the end of it. So it's a relative infinite. And that's b'chol. It's just illustrating. The b'chol ma'itcha doesn't mean somebody else's avodah. It's your avodah b'chol ma'itcha, which might be for somebody else, limited and no struggle at all. Back to the illustration. Everybody knows that the water does have an end. So why is halacha calling it? It's a mishnah. Brought Narambam, water, endless waters, because he doesn't see the end. So this is water that has no end. So just like a person, now when is going to end? This constant struggle. I beat him today, weiter, the same thing again I got to deal with. He looks at his colleague and this is no struggle for him. But that's b'chol ma'itcha for you. Seemingly endless battle. So, and it is. I mean, till the Mashiach comes. Although the battle upgrades, it upgrades. That's not necessarily the same mode, although it could be. But in this itself, more subtle levels, or other areas of struggle that he didn't even know he had to struggle with before. So this is also b'chol ma'itcha, you're very much. So for this yid, in doing what he does, he had to go beyond his own limits. So he should know that this reaches a ma'ir, and it arouses gam l'mayla. You touch the Eibishter Vada B'china Shalamayla Medida V'Agbola. You touch the Eibishter, the true, beyond all limits. Bligvol Hamiti, the true Bligvol. The essence of Hashem. B'chinas HaRotzen V'Atay Nogelin, you're causing the Eibishter, you're evoking his desire and his inner delight, that's Musim, his Baruch that he has from your Avodah B'chol Ma'itcha. So the Nefesh Elikis has this tremendous aliyah as a result of it's working with the Nefesh Abahamis and the Nefesh and the Guf, thereby sweetening it and making the salty waters, the sweet and delectable waters by which the Nefesh Elikis drinks deeply and achieves its ultimate elevation. However, we're not finished yet, friends. The Avodah continues, to be continued with Hashem tomorrow. Beautiful Maimon, huh?